Alright guys, Chelsea have just beaten Southampton on penalties 4-3. It was 1-1 in normal time in the fourth round of the League Cup. And it was a really good game, to be fair, a lot better than I expected it to be, because Southampton, at the moment, are a bit. I mean this in the nicest way possible, but they're a bit of a nothing club. No, that's too harsh. They're a club that don't really get headlines. Do you know what I mean? Like Wolves are another team that are a bit like that. Except from Wolves, there's that whole thing about Portuguese players, or there was anyway. Maybe Crystal Palace went into that bracket before they got Roy Hodgson, but you get the idea. But no, Southampton were brilliant today. Considering they went 1-0, they went in at half time 1-0 down. They had a brilliant second half to the game. Chelsea were the better side in the first half, I think that's fair to say. Fraser Forster made a few brilliant saves. Probably the pick of the bunch coming from Salniguez's header, which he did really well to get a strong left hand too. He did also make a couple of other decent saves on top of that as well. But Chelsea did manage to take the lead just before half time through Kai Havertz's header from a Hakim Ziyech cross from a corner. Just a glancing header into the bottom corner. I think Southampton's choice of defending, like how they defended the corner, wasn't great. It wasn't so much the players. I think it was more of a training ground thing, because they chose not to have any players on the post, which I think is a mistake. You should always have one post covered, I think, just so the keeper feels like that's like a quarter of his goal covered. So then he's only got 3/4 of the goal to cover himself. And also it's makes it a bit safer if the keeper wants to come off his line to collect or punch the cross. And the other thing was Kyle Walker-Peters was the closest to Kai Havertz when he headed the ball. Kai Havertz, he's, for someone who is as skillful as he is and just silky and all that, he's quite tall. He's got to be 6'1", 6'2" at the very least. And Kyle Walker-Peters is about 5'8", 5'9" at most. So he definitely shouldn't have been marking him. But I will say that Southampton, other than that, were brilliant. There were a few brilliant players that I noticed for Southampton today. One of them was a player who I've never watched before, or can't recall watching before, called Lianco, or something like that. Lianco, a centre back, and he was absolutely brilliant. There was one point where he did a really good tackle on Hudson-Odoi, it might have been, and he just starts celebrating. He clearly enjoyed himself today. Other standout performance today, Kyle Walker-Peters had a good game. Who else? Armstrong played quite well. Che Adams played well. Stuart, it's two Armstrongs, isn't there? Stuart Armstrong and Adam Armstrong both played quite well today. Mohamed Salisu in defence played well. Fraser Forster, who I've already said, had a good game. And Southampton in the second half responded really well. You could argue Malang Sarr could have done a little bit better to take it to the corner of the pitch, but then clear it and make a bit of a mess of it and leave himself out of position for Kyle Walker-Peters to get a shot off. Kepa, you can't. It's tough to say whether he was at fault for it, because he did technically save the shot, but he just hit the underside of his thigh and sort of rolled by the line, and Che Adams had the easiest tapping he'll ever get in his life. Um, yeah, that was the equaliser for Southampton. I think it'd be a bit harsh to call it a Kepa mistake. I think Malang Sarr was probably the most at fault for it. There were a few Chelsea players who had brilliant games as well today. Callum Hudson-Odoi played very well. Trevor Chalobah I thought was also decent. Who else? Mateo Kovacic, bar a few moments towards the end, had a good game generally. Kai Havertz was also very good again. Yeah, and towards the end of the game, Southampton were getting quite a lot of chances. Adam Armstrong had one that Kepa had to save, and then in stoppage time, there were quite a few decent saves from Kepa. There were two from corners. I think it was Salisu was the really good one. Kepa had to. It was a similar save to what Forster did in the first half with Sal Niguez, and also like Lianco also had a header come close. And also, to be fair, Forster made a really good save in the second half. Sal Niguez had one that was curling top corner. Smallbone also had a couple of chances. His first game in something like months after he's been out with a ligament injury. And yeah, he went to penalties. And Armstrong took a good penalty to kick it off. And then who took the first for Chelsea? Who did take the first? Alonso sent Forster the wrong way. Then Walcott missed. I think he was a little bit put off by the crowd shouting Arsenal reject. That's a bit harsh. Like, Walcott wasn't really an Arsenal reject. He played for the club for what? It's got to be 11 years at least. And was a brilliant servant for them. Okay, he wasn't like always 100% fit, but he had like a brilliant career at Arsenal, I think. No? Okay. Mason Mount then walked up for the penalty to put Chelsea ahead, but had his penalty saved. He did also have one saved at the weekend, but Tim Krul was slightly off his line. So Mount retook it and scored, but not in this case because Forster was on his line. And then the third penalty for both teams was scored. It was who got the third? Oh God, I can't think now. Who took Southampton's third penalty? It was. Got a feeling it was Stuart Armstrong. Yeah, we'll go with Stuart Armstrong. And the third for Chelsea was taken by. Who took Chelsea's third penalty? Oh yeah, Hudson-Odoi. He did a little stutter before it and put it right in the corner. And then Will Smallbone walked up to take a penalty. The first big thing he's done in football probably this year, and absolutely skied it. You feel for him a little bit. And Ben Chilwell capitalised on it and put Chelsea ahead in the shootout. And who took the final one for Southampton? It was. Who took the final one for Southampton? Oriol Romeo off the bench against his old team managed to score. I think he put it straight down the middle. And then the winning penalty was scored by Reece James. I think he scored the winning penalty in the last round as well. Calm penalty. And completely sent Fraser Forster the wrong way to put Chelsea through to the quarterfinals, along with Sunderland and Arsenal, who beat Leeds 2-0. A couple of interesting teams into the quarterfinals. Liverpool v Preston tomorrow night, Man City v West Ham also. So, still some big teams left in it. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.